Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The
I
final.
can't do it. Spooks' player cam is absolutely, like, just from now on, I think we should have a, sub-screen for Spooks' player cam.
And from now on, Jace Pontabiri is introducing every single segment we get back into the OPL for.
That
There
man
it
on your
is!
screen right
Hello!
there. We're about to get into Game 3 of Chiefs versus Direwolves. This does decide whether the Chiefs finish second or third fishery. You're absolutely right. But that guy, he pops off on the player cam. He's a monster. And he played very well that game. We said that game number 1 was largely decided by the fact that Shern was able to outpath him so hard.
Yep.
And it delayed that gank bottom lane that Spooks wanted to be able to execute upon. Well, this game, not the case. Burned Shern's flash in the top lane and then was able to punish King and Destiny very hard off the back end of Ejim's 720 no-scope Qs on Morgana.
Oh boy. We're going to pick some bans again. Both wins in this series have been on red side. Direwolves drafted very well in game number 1. Chiefs did as well in game number 2.
I'm telling you, going into best of 5s against Direwolves red side OP. They are one of the best red side teams I think we've ever had in O's. Double counter pick means so much for this team. And it will be interesting to see whether Caitlyn is priority at the end of this draft, because it looks like Maokai will potentially get through.
Let's see, because Elise Thresh, the same bans from the Chiefs, their third ban has been fluctuating.
Because the funny thing is, right, is that Maokai and Sejuani are up, and both of them are very good junglers. And if it was Direwolves on red side, I was like, you can't pick Caitlyn, because the Chiefs will pick Maokai Sejuani, because they will most happily play Maokai top lane, Sejuani in the jungle. However, if I say the Direwolves, I don't really think they're going to pick Maokai Sejuani.
No.
However, the Chiefs still respect it.
It's probably going to be a Coglulu pick here for Direwolves.
You reckon?
Same thing as what they did in game 1. Similar bans, Cassiopeia taken away very early.
Does Cog Lulu beat Caitlyn Jana? That's a big question for me, especially with Maokai gank pressure.
Not sure.
Or even, Kate Morgana. It didn't even really do all that good into the Tristana, to be honest. They still got their turret taken very early. But King's late game was incredibly impressive.
I think it could choose to default back to Tristana maybe. Try a different support. Or,
No,
as
I
you
think
said,
Kate
just straight Kate. Kate's picked up for a raise. And the Chiefs, last time around in this draft phase, they picked Nah very early. Direwolves didn't immediately... Oh, no, they did. They did immediately counter with the Lucian, but we thought that was a mid Lucian.
lane, yep.
But Shen is the pick of choice here.
Interesting. So they're obviously very happy playing more than just Morgana Jana here. Or they think that Swiffer will justify at least one ban. Talia, Kassadin. There are lots of things that the Direwolves do like to red side pick here. Camille doesn't do all that well into Shen.
But again, Direwolves can pick the jungler here and once again get double counter pick. Top lane's already shown. They know it's Shen. They can pick up their top lane pick in the first pick rotation and save counter pick for Fantix, but let's see which pool gets targeted heavier. Jana already banned out. Could be a Morgana ban to follow.
I mean, see, the Zac pick doesn't make sense to me, right? Unless you think that the Chiefs are going to ban away Zac.
I mean, one of the
Because
biggest...
Sejuani's still available. Gragas is still up and available, I believe.
Is up,
There's so many picks right now that they could have gone towards. Whereas now you potentially lose one of your mid laners.
I mean, Zac did horribly into Jana as well. So with that ban, makes the pick a bit easier for Shenfire to force on.
Agree with that. Thresh is also off the board. So Gragas, Thresh, Jana, historically the things that have really mucked up Zac's day.
We saw in the Telecom war that Zac can be punished very early in the jungle by someone like a Jarvan, but they know it's a Maokai. They know the exact matchup that Shenfire will be running into.
Trundle.
Picked up for Chippies in the top lane.
Certainly has to be. So a big split pushing threat coming out for Chippies. They look like they had a really good team fighting comp. That will, of course, now no longer be the case.
That's not going to happen.
Yep. Swift doesn't play Echo.
But he does play Zed. That'd be
Certainly does play Zed.
interesting match, but instead defaults back to LeBlanc, something he is more well known for. No Kassadin, no Lucian this game.
What does Ejim want to play here? As we said, the two big picks for him are gone.
Alistar.
Braum.
Braum's still up. Braum Caitlyn's fine. And gives him another tank for the front line.
Nami.
Nami gets locked in for Ejim.
So Nami does also wreck Zach stay as long as you have vision of where he's coming in from. Because you are able to get things like the wave out, if it's really obvious, like obviously bubble spam, things like that. Faker played Fizz recently, and Apto and Faker are kind of the people that Fantix looks at. The chain goes through Playful Trickster, however, so it's not my favorite matchup in the world, Fish.
You can dodge the chain, but that's not the pick of choice. Fantix defaults back to Jace in the mid lane. I
Lots
think
of AD.
Direwolves have a really fun team comp.
Do they?
I like it. There's a lot of poke, anti-tank top lane, big initiative of Zach, protect the Kog'Maw, everything's there.
They don't have any Protect the Kog'Maw.
Lulu.
Lulu. So
Lulu with Ardent's wind
they've
speaker.
got a ranged support, he says.
I mean, come on, Lulu, double shield. Whimsy. Ooh, flying. I guess the magic damage they're relying on is Kog'Maw.
Yep. But he's going to have to get through 2 tanks at least. One of them probably going to have their resistances stripped away. However, I feel like bottom lane pressure is what's going to win or lose this game. If Raze and Echim can push up, if they can harass underneath turret, if they can look to take another sub 10-minute turret, big win condition for the Chiefs. 1-3-1 is always going to be a threat. At the same time, if Shern can match Spooks' pressure on Zach, who is such a potent pre-6 ganker now because of the way the Q works, Direwolves also should be able to control the pace. And that man's had 2 pretty ordinary games, in all honesty. See whether he can step up for game number 3 and lead his team to 2nd place finish.
He's had a fairly ordinary split for Swiffer standards.
Yep. I'd agree with that.
A few big plays here and there, but nothing outstanding.
That man,
this guy, whoo!
He's extraordinary. He's the opposite of ordinary.
Yep. Since League of Origin, he's been an absolute beast. He's looking to try and put Direwolves on his back again.
You're welcome, Direwolves. You know, I just whispered some sweet nothings into Fantix's ears.
But for the Chiefs, it's do or die. Direwolves doesn't matter too much. It's pride, dignity, as well as confidence and form going into the Grand Finals match. For the Chiefs, a win and loss here is the difference between an entire best-of-5 series during the Gauntlet.
It's also the difference between going 13 weeks without having beaten a top 4 team, and they really need that one.
And they're going to try and pick it up here in the 3rd and final match of the best-of-3 series between the Chiefs and Direwolves. Currently, Direwolves, top of the table. No one can contest them anymore. Chiefs still 2nd and 3rd. This game decides that, and they want to start Split 2 strong. They want to represent Oceania internationally once again.
Certainly do. You can see King and Destiny trying to get around. I thought Caitlyn's attack speed was going to be so low that you couldn't even get 2 auto attacks there, Fish.
Raze does run a funky Rampage. I wonder if there's a champion that can kill wards without an ability at level 1. Maybe if you run without Q?
Leona. Oh, without an ability.
Yeah, without an ability. If just natural auto attacks are enough.
I don't think so.
Unlucky. But to kick things off, everyone's just fanning out. So no risky play from either team. No late invade from the Direwolves, which was actually quite crucial to their Game 1 victory.
Yep.
Shut down Spooks for an incredibly long time on the Maokai.
And Maokai has a really good jungle route if he doesn't get disrupted at all.
Yes.
Because he can stack saplings on blue buff, which is actually really important because he gets cooldown reduction and the ability to spam out abilities as he's jungling. And here we go. That's the sapling stack. You get 3 down, and then you'll get 1 to finish it.
That is, that's frightening.
It is a very terrifying
3
skin, actually. The ultimate's the worst.
3 kitten saplings just jumping out of nowhere. And
1 more auto. And should be able to start off a very quick jungle clear.
Shernfire forced to smite. So he does stay even in terms of tempo, but
he used a potion and smited at the same time. That's really strange. So generally, if you get a leash, you smite or use a potion charge because you want to stay as healthy as possible. Doing both, I think, is actually a little bit of a mistake.
Zach's sustain is quite good in the jungle, so he should be fine later. Maybe it's just an early game thing. Just try to stay as healthy as possible. Good trade from Swiper there, though. Completely jukes out Chippies. He's going to get many auto attacks in that trade.
Yeah, Swiper got all 3 and Chippy's got 1.
Level 2 is hit by Trundle, though, and just turns around. Still, Swiper winning the trade against the level 2 Trundle.
And this is kind of Chippy's thing, right? Chippy's is the person that is able to out-auto attack trade people. He's the guy with the fantastic mechanics up in the top lane. However, Swiper is denying him CS already, and Chippy's, he throws in the towel.
He's going back to base.
He says, I'm going back to base.
He's got no potion. Swiper's still holding on to his own. The doctor is in spawn. He's ready.
Big swips. Every single time I talk to him, he just says, IWNL. He says, I will not lose. and he lost. So, you know, he technically lied to me. However, has had a pretty dominant performance this split. You can see that the Chiefs won in on Shern's jungle.
Collapsing onto Shern. He gets the rubber hands on the blue and takes it for himself.
Yep.
Destiny shows up, gets 3 gold for an auto
Jace is
attack.
here.
And now Spooks is stuck. He's polymorph as well. Flashes into a Jace. Does get a big heal as well. First
blood.
Picked up by the Jace mid lane. Fantix will eventually fall, but gets so much damage
got a second one.
and actually kills Raze on his way back to base.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Chiefs, it was Ejim that took the kill. So even though there was a double buff transfer, not to the person that you want, Fish.
Nope.
And all of a sudden, all this pressure that was building up in the bottom lane now collapses on its face because of a fantastic repel from the Direwolves.
Assists for King and Destiny, as well as 2 for Shernfire. And as you said, only Ejim getting that kill. So they've got to make use of this Ardent Sensor Rush that they'll get soon. But they kept Fantix alive, and he stood and fought. He said, I'm going to die, and let me try and take someone with me, and got that final Q off.
Yeah, he got a huge shield. It was from Lulu that I don't think the Chiefs really thought they were in range for. Flash was also used for Ejim, so big summoner spells down in the bottom lane. Let's take another look at it. So Accelerated Shock Blast missed, and I thought here that they were going to be able to turn that 1-for-1. However, Ejim with the last auto attack here probably should have left that one for Swiffer, to be honest. Double buff on LeBlanc would have been a big deal, especially going into a Hex Drinker. Now, however, Chippies is in no man's land.
What is he doing?
Well, he's got no TP.
Hello.
So he's going to have to recall. However, he will be spotted.
One with the Wolves. Oh no, he's now stuck. No, he does have Flash, so he can jump out. Good pillar, but he's dead. Chain connects, that's going to land, and that's an easy kill for the Chiefs.
This one must go to Swiffer, however. Otherwise, hugely bad news. He does pick it up.
That's good for them. Chippy set even further behind. Swiper's already having a field day in that lane.
I'd say it's amazing for the real benefactor isn't even on the screen. Like, sure, you got the kill, but I don't even have someone to lane against, says Swiper. This is the dream League of Legends game.
So Chiefs aren't out of the woods yet. Still dead even. Fantix comes up top lane, taxes the wave of Chippies.
I mean, it makes sense, right? He had nothing to do mid lane because the wave is reversing. I like it.
So interesting adaptation on the bottom lane. King's gone for heal. Destiny does have exhaust this game, and we don't see the heal barrier from Nami Caitlyn.
I think that makes sense, just because of the fact that there is going to be a lot of scuffling, and no exhaust hurts when you've got an assassin. So you want to be able to exhaust that LeBlanc when she launches herself in. Shern knows that Swiffer doesn't have vision of him. See whether he can get anything.
Whee! Rubber hands in. Slam from Fantix as well.
Dead. Oh,
level 6 as well as the collapse coming in. Ultimate thrown to Shernfire. He's locked down by Spooks as well, and they're trying to take down this Zac. One more auto, splits the Bloblets. Spooks does not have Smite, so it's not an easy kill onto the passive here, but at least they blow that from Shernfire.
Yeah, exactly right. So they're able to pick that one up, but they do expend a lot there. Teleport is used. However, as Swiper had just shopped, he can just run back top lane. You don't want anything to do with this guy, Swiffer.
Richard Su almost getting the solo kill in the mid lane. Forces him out. Already picked up his Hex Drinker thanks to the accelerated gold he has from the 2 kills.
Swiffer sticking around here. That's a little bit brave, Fish.
Has the minion wave to work with. Fantix very confidently stepping forward. Cleanses back up. Everyone from the Direwolves has refillable pot.
Oh, King, some fancy footwork there. That was a nice play, trap placed by Raze, but he was equal to the task. Swiffer, not going to teleport. He does teleport for the 3 creeps. I was going to say disciplined play, doesn't teleport for the 3 creeps. Undisciplined play, teleports for 2 creeps, Fish.
I mean, it could help him if he pushes this wave out. We'll be able to get blue buff. Swiper's smashing Trundle top lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ninja Tabby versus double Dorans. That's a big item discrepancy, mate.
I mean, could it be because Trundle usually relies on the Chomp auto attack? Yep. Auto attack, Chomp, auto attack.
Of course, Dodge Field going to absolutely nullify that, Fish, if that's what you're going towards.
Yep. And Shen also has 3 empowered attacks with the Q.
Yeah, so he can just stand and deliver, you reckon? Of course, it does magic damage as well, so none of Shen's real auto attack trade is through AD, which is what gets sapped away. They need to shut down Fantix, however. And the problem is that they've got so much magic damage on the top side of the map that I don't know if they can do it.
Well, let's see. He's got the Serrated Dirt picked up
Level
here.
4 to level 5 from the junglers.
Oh, they collapse on the Fantics. Does have cleanse, but the second chain comes out. Swiper's here. Big taunt. Flash away from Swiffer, though. Fantics trying to turn around. Will eventually die to Spook. Swiper was forced to flash. Lulu is on her way, though.
Yeah, and in comes Nami as well. So another big play. The Chiefs like the Assassin Shen combo, it looks like, Fish. Every single time Swiffer wants to go in, they say, okay, that's absolutely fine. You go in, and I'll just piggyback on top of you.
We haven't seen a Swiffer Assassin for quite some time.
Since they lost to Sin. Was I think the last time they played the... no, Legacy, actually, was the last time they played the LeBlanc. Now he wants a piece of Shern.
Oh, Swiffer looks
No
good.
passive, remember.
Doesn't have the spell rotation to kill him.
Oh, his ultimate just came back off cooldown. A second rotation of chains 100% would have killed him there, Fish.
Sends a message at least, and he's going to continue pushing this mid lane. Make it much harder for Richard to farm here.
Has caught up a little bit in CS, as well as that kill and a couple of assists helping out. Also, the fact that no cleanse available for Fantic means the next time that combo is up and ready for Swiffer and Swiper, expect them to go towards it again.
Does have flash, though. Spooks wants to try and catch out Destiny.
Very interesting here. He's just zoning them away, making them go the long way around. Don't think they should look to invade anything here. So that's a level 7 Shernfire to the level 6 of Spook. So Spook's falling behind in experience again.
He does have the Hunter's Potion, can stick around the jungle for a long time. Tiamat complete for Swiper top lane. With only now the Barley Cinder picked up 4 Spooks. He's going back to base. Shernfire is recalling on.
Look at Egypt's trying to get a ward right now that goes into the... Yeah, there it is.
Ooh.
Good spot by the observers.
That's a feels good.
It certainly is.
I did not know you could do that.
Yeah, he's very proud of it. He sat here in practice tool the other day before he went on the analyst desk and showed it to me for about an hour. I got bored after about 2 minutes. I was like, oh, that's cool. And he was like, yeah, let me show you another 15 times. And I was like, not as cool anymore. However, Chippies is dead top lane.
Swiper's going to go toe-to-toe. There's the Subjugate that wins the matchup for Trundle, but
Yeah.
Swiper's just hurting him to Spooks and Swiffer. Flash forward from Maokai.
Maybe not needed.
Yeah. Meow. Hits him. Taunt.
Do they give it over to Swiffer?
Probably.
Yep, there it is. So very nicely done. I don't think Spooks needed to flash there whatsoever, Fish.
Nope.
But he did, and he got himself and his team a kill, which was very good. 1, 1, and 3. Certainly, he looks like a Season 1 jungler nearly. They don't know Swiffer is there, so Shern didn't go over the wall to try and get a little bit of harass down.
Bottom lane, King steps up against Raze. Good trade. Raze just says, you know what, I'll fight you.
Yeah, the problem is it not really a good trade, because this is what used to be the trading pattern of Kate plus Sustain, is that, yeah, I'm going to push out your wave. Oh, let's talk about that later.
They lock down Spooks. He is so squishy, but turns around, gets a big shield as well. Shernfire delivers no one to the back line. Chains will whiff. And Trundle did cancel the Shen ult.
Yep. Very nicely done from Trundle. You can see that Swiper also takes a fair amount of damage there, because I think that it was a last-minute cancel, which is fairly disorienting. So he's going to have to teleport back to his turret. What I was going to say is that Caitlyn plus Sustain is a really awkward trading pattern. And you can see that that also burn a Summoner spell there, because the layering of CC that can come out of Nami plus Caitlyn Trap is fairly obnoxious, Fish. And that's another good trade for the mid laner of the Chiefs.
Where'd he go? Swiffer disappeared.
It's all an illusion. But in saying that, the bottom lane turret is fairly healthy still. So hasn't taken all that much damage. They've done a good job of when it is crashing, they've pushed it away.
Spooks looks like he wants to dive, but no ultimate available for the Maokai.
I don't know if he wants to dive or whether he just wants to continue this, which is they can't step up as far as they would like to. And we could see that all of the pushes in the past, Fish, had done absolutely nothing. That push right there, as Swiffer's dead.
He's going to get locked down here. Fantix goes to the skies and disciplined kill from the Direwolves.
I mean, they just were camping the heck out of him, and then Swiffer stuck around with no mana. So that's actually very nicely done from Fantix,
Don't do that, Swiffer.
as well as Shernfire. And now you can see that that means bottom lane also has to back off. What was a little bit of a role that the Chiefs had put themselves on now goes back in favor of the Direwolves, and continually the mid laner of Direwolves just provides them a win condition.
It's been a fantastic series so far to end out the OPL.
It really has been. Very impressive play from both teams. Game 1, incredibly close. Probably the best game we've seen in a long time. I don't know if you win that trade, Swiper, because he has ult.
He's got to actually use it first, and that might be what Swiper was looking for.
But he has no taunt to get away.
Ouch. Painful. Stop.
He cancelled like 3 orders.
Oh, no!
The do-si-do. Sustain of Trundle will win out here, Fish.
Yep.
And you
Zach's
can see Zach is looking for a gank. This could be Shern really putting his stamp on this series.
Oh, that hurts, and the pillar is there as well. Dodge field's out, big taunt flash, but he bounces towards him, tags him with red buff. Chippies is running at him, flashes on his face, bites him for good measure, and Direwolves commit to the play, get a kill.
And Destiny and King are in mid lane, so even though they lose out on the bottom lane turret, you can see that they are trying to make some rotations around Summoner's Rift. Direwolves will respond in top lane and put Chippies a little bit ahead now. Won't get anything mid lane, however. I think they were hoping for a cheeky kill onto Swiffer. However, continually pushing in here means that they might get some damage onto tier 2. Swiper's still 10 seconds away. No mana for Chippies.
Direwolves will use that time to counter jungle a little bit. They take blue buff for themselves inside of the Chiefs jungle. Mountain Dragon picked up by the Chiefs.
I normally hate tempo losses for Caitlyn games. However, I feel like the one time you can do it is on Mountain Dragon. Because she revolves around hitting structures more than anyone in the game. If you cannot hit the structures, Caitlyn is not a good pick in the current meta of League of Legends. Spooks has to take that one for himself. So junglers will just take each other the blue buffs, and the mid laners will be like, come on guys, was that really necessary?
It was all a trap.
Fantastic timing there from Fantix.
Oh, he wanted it. He wanted to go to the skies on top of Swiffer. But yep, good timing for Fantix. He's very well versed on the Jace. Picked up a Youmuu's as his first item.
Yep.
Ardent Sensor complete for both supports. What a surprise. Never thought I'd see that item.
No Sightstone yet available, however. Unfortunately, they've just lost it in the shop.
Heals and shields on your allies increase or enhance their basic attack. Oh. Get it out.
You see, Chiefs have actually gone into their 1-3-1 very early in this game, Fish. So Shen down bottom lane. But they have to be careful because Zach is also coming down here.
Ooh, Cypher does get locked down.
Good
Rubber
dodge.
Hands doesn't connect, but King of Destiny step up to get more damage on this turret. Spooks is here, but they can't contest this very easily.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit of a misstep from the Chiefs. They go into a 1-3-1, but it actually bites them in the bum. Fantix, however, needs to get out now.
Good damage.
Oh!
Raise. Oh, Spooks flashing for the Twisted Advance, but not in range for the ability.
Yep, so unfortunately trades the cooldown with the mid laner. Probably still worthwhile if you think that Fantix's flash is going to be a little bit more useful than Spooks's. They also now are looking for mid lane while the Chiefs look for Rift Herald. Direwolves are going to want to fight this.
Chiefs do have Infinity Edge on Ray, so at least he has a damaging item.
Fantix isn't there, however. So this is a big play if the Direwolves go for it.
He just got slapped by Helga. Standing Knight is available for Swiper. He's standing in Fog of War. Ultimate comes out of Spooks. He gets the Herald, but there's Schoenfight. Delivers Raze to the back lines. We'll have Standing Knight coming through, but is it enough? He flashes early. Fantix now joins the fight. Swiffer's in a lot of trouble. Tries to mimic his way out. Swiper falls from the front line. Spooks is going to be next as the Direwolves will pick up 2 kills.
Yeah, really nicely played out of the Direwolves, and you can see all the summoner spells have been burnt. So that was the maximum team fight from both teams right now. Oh, Fantix.
Don't get put out. Tries to knock Swiffer back. Takes a lot of damage. The Glitter Lance from Destiny not in range. And Swiffer will live.
Gone are the days where you can get 2 Glitter Lances off. So unfortunately for Destiny, didn't get a second shot at that one. I thought that was going to be Fantix dead, Fish. He has no flash. However, let's take another look at this one. They go early onto Raze and bring him back to the team. He takes a lot of damage, which means he has to flash early. Doesn't get the auto attacks he would have liked to, and you can see how tanky Chippies is in this team fight. They just continue to chase forward. Double tank onto double tank means that the Direwolves win out. Chiefs definitely want to be in a 1-3-1 at the moment, not team fighting with everyone on the same screen.
Chippies has gone for the Ravenous Hydra as well, so Swiper is going to start to lose heavily in this matchup, even without the Subjugate used. 3,000 gold lead for the Direwolves, so they should be very comfortable in their current spot.
Also, something like really small to point out is the fact that they've got the Rift Herald on Swiffer right now, and he wants to be in a side lane. So unless he drops it in base and then runs to a side lane, I don't really know how he's going to use this one all that well. You can see that he's using his clone currently to scout out where Shern is. Shern's kind of just rotating between mid and jungle.
Shern's having a much better game as well. Oh, and 6 and Zach has forced a lot of ganks.
Yeah.
He's got this man on your screen ahead as well. Fantix 4-2-1. Second armor penetration item coming out soon.
Yep.
Lethality.
Duskblade of Drakthar will be picked up as the next item you would have to think, Fish. And you can see that the Chiefs, the problem is right now is they're not winning either side of the split push battle.
Ouch. Make it stop. Make it stop.
And as soon as Subjugate comes down, it gets even worse, as you mentioned. So they need to be very careful.
Oh, big ultimate from Shernfire. Forces a flash, and Spooks gets delivered into the team. He throws out his ultimate, but King gets that kill. And Shock Blast combo knocks Egypt and Raze out of the park as well. Chiefs can't defend this turret.
Yeah, Chiefs are losing this game, and Shern's dove in. He has got the passive up.
So he's happy to try and fight this one out. He should die here for that blunder. Curious decision. Didn't work out.
Shern, you said having a better performance. That was still a little bit strange to see. You can see Swiffer is sprinting towards his bottom lane. Subjugate still hasn't been used from Chippies. Swiper's trying to get him to force it out.
He's not using it. Chippies is trying to hold on to that ability.
So
Swiffer's on his way.
Against the Caitlyn team, though, they've got their Cogmore ahead. He's been able to pick up more turrets. Swiffer, as you said, just wasn't able to get there in time. Has Gunblade. Will walk over a pink ward and absolutely do nothing about it.
Rift Herald has to be expiring soon. Swift, he's still going. He wants this Trundle.
Yep.
She's got out there. Unfortunate.
Infernal Drake is up. That's why they were searching for the little bit of a pick so much Fish.
So we have another Hurricane picked up by Raze here. I don't like it on Caitlyn anymore, but he seems to like the item.
Yeah, well, I mean, with this many people diving towards you, I actually don't hate it. I actually like this use of Rift Herald as well, funnily enough, because this should give some pressure somewhere on the map while the dragon is up and available. So that someone is going to have to go kill that, and as soon as they do, the Chiefs might be able to rush down Infernal.
Super might just walk Rift Herald all the way down bottom lane as well.
Yep.
He's waiting in case someone tries to kill it while it's out in the open.
Which would be the smart move, right, for the Direwolves, because as soon as it gets towards the turret, there's going to be a lot of pressure put on it.
Oh, they've actually pushed Direwolves towards the mid lane. So Rift Herald will get a charge on mid lane inner. Top lane inner, sorry. Bottom lane, no! Went through every single lane and got them all wrong.
You can see that Raze is trying to find the sweet spot to be able to hit over the wall. I don't think they should.
Has the flash.
Yeah.
He's either going to fight from the back of this pit or he's going to have to try and flash out. He wants to stay in for the smite. Doesn't get it. Shernfire gets it. Spooks almost dies. Swiffer as well. Egypt half health from one Shock Blast combo. Do they even get top lane in a
Yeah, I just don't know why the Chiefs fought there, Fish. You're kind of hands on head as well. It looks like a big force. And unfortunately for them, they're losing all over the map right now.
No.
You hate to see it. You really hate to see it. How do you execute on Maokai?
I feel bad for him.
I don't. They're going to get Baron off that.
Direwolves now move towards Baron. So they wouldn't know that he's
dead
unless they press tab.
Really?
It doesn't give you a notification unless you're in vision. They try to collapse him towards King. Good taunt from Swiper.
Yeah.
King dies. But they do deliver Swiffer to the back line. Swiper's very low as well. And Raze is already down. Direwolves win the fight. And Egypt, he's going to be taken down here as well.
Yeah, last man left standing is Egypt. And you can see Destiny screaming his head off. They really want this win, the Direwolves. Fantix wasn't even at that team fight. Neither was Spooks because he was dead. And now unless he steals, which he probably can't because he's 2 levels down, Direwolves will have nearly an 11, no, not that much, 7,000 gold lead. And control of this game.
Chiefs were commanding the lead. Swiper was doing well. Raze and Egypt were all right. Swiffer was getting ahead. But a couple of blunders here and there, and Direwolves are back in front.
Yep, exactly right. I think contesting that dragon was the wrong thing to do. They had the side lane pressure. Let's take a look at this fight. Contest from them onto the blue buff. King steps forward. I think that's
Raze.
an okay play to make. What did Raze do?
Just walks straight into the entire team and dies.
I mean, he was hitting King.
King does fall, but the rest of the Chiefs fall as well. And Chippies with the triple.
Yep. So Chippies is now a split-pushing monster. He's got the Baron buff. He's got himself Spirit Visage as well as that Hydra. Not all that much they can do. You can see that Swiffer is trying to do the cheeky double teleport thing where you just shadow your tank. However, not going to work, Swiffer. The Trundle is in the other lane.
With Baron buff as well. This is difficult. Even Raze has to be careful.
And now they've just grouped the other people up. They're not playing the 1-3-1 game, and the Chiefs are going to lose out on a mid lane turret.
Teleport is up for Chippies. Swiper has both Stand United and Teleport. Mid lane inner does fall to the Direwolves. Trundle has been rotated bottom lane, just matching the pressure of Swiper, and you could expect Direwolves now to move top lane.
Yeah, 8,000 gold on bottom is the lead right now. They just want to take away red buff as well as anything else they can find here.
All your base are belong to us.
Yep. And Raze is actually the only person close. 2,300 gold mid lane, 2,800 gold top lane. Everywhere else, massive advantages right now for the Direwolves.
Raze is at least even, 50 gold down, so a single potion in King's favor.
Gold up.
Oh, he is too. He's a single potion up. Doesn't have one though, so it doesn't matter. Chiefs will continue to defend here. They've got Swiper top lane. Direwolves did kind of group up bottom lane instead of going for top side. They will eventually get this anyway.
Yeah, so the Chiefs just have to keep forfeiting turrets. Unfortunately for them, they don't have the hyper carry of the Tristana to go this game, and Fantix hurts.
Spook's already at half health as well. That turret is going to fall so low. Sherpa diving
Goes in.
He gets Spooks and bounces him back into the team as well. Big pick for the Direwolves.
Certainly is, however, Shern's in big trouble. He'll also fall down, although now Chippies is behind them.
Here comes the little slugger, gets exhausted. Big taunt from Swiper. He's not a very tanky Trundle, but
King! The base.
He's flashed into the base, throwing and praying, spitting at everyone, gets the triple kill off the back of that, and that might be game for the Direwolves.
What a play out of the AD carry of the Direwolves. He flashes into the base and kills 3 members of the Chiefs, and Direwolves will go through his first seed, as well as pick up this best of 3.
He will not allow his Kiwi top laner to fall in disgrace to the Chiefs. Raze tries to put up a last stand. It's not going to matter. And just like day 1 of the OPL, Direwolves finish up 2-1 against the Chiefs.
And King will be pretty happy with that. After, you know, game 1 getting dove and everything looking like it was going to go Razor's way. I mean, Chippies pulled him out of that one. Then game 2, just absolute suffocating play. Game 3, he flashes into the base and is able to grab himself a triple kill. That was really well played.
Yeah, King's a flash W Cobalt. He showed it right there. Big play from Direwolves and kind of shows that Chiefs still have a lot of weaknesses. They still make mistakes. And Direwolves punish so heavily.
Yeah, it certainly does. And that means that it will be Direwolves 1, Legacy 2, Chiefs 3, and AV versus Sin. Exactly the same way that Split 1 ended, apart from the fact that Sin were 5th back then. Ooh. But we won't mention that. Were you 4th last split as well? Oh, so it's the exact same way.
Split 1 and Split 2 looking exactly the same, and it's a worrying trend for the Chiefs at the moment.
It certainly is. I mean, still yet to beat a top 4 team. In a split in 3 weeks of League of Legends, Fish, going into the gauntlet, they cannot be confident.
No, they cannot, especially after that match. Yes, a single win against the Direwolves feels good here and there, but they need to put up some impressive performances in best of 5 series now. And the Direwolves, they can sit back as they did in Split 1. They can relax and watch every single team show all their strategies, show all their plays, and take them on to the grand finals.
Exactly right. They're just going to be able to, you know, sit down with Sharp, really dissect the drafts, have a look at what teams are doing early. They're so good at doing it, be able to break down the map. And, I mean, no one wants to play against Direwolves right now. They look like a fantastic team.
But unfortunately, one of the teams from the Gauntlet will have to take them on in the grand finals. But to wrap up Split 1 of the OPL regular split, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Chiefs unable to take that series. Direwolves 2-1 the victors, meaning they are, like Spawn said, in first place. Legacy second, Chiefs third. And Sin are in 4th position heading into the Gauntlet. AV rounding it out.
It's the exact same format as Split 1. The Gauntlet, you're going to be doing the long run again. Yeah.
we actually had the most amount of, we had more wins than Chiefs this split, I think. But the way the point system works, we finished below them.
No, Chiefs,
like, as in, when I say more wins, as in more series wins.
More series
Because
wins.
we're 7-3. I think they're 6-4 now.
But they had more 2-0s
but they
for
have
the
more
bonus
2-0s.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
All right, well, standing by right now with Sarian is jungler for Direwolves Shernfire. So let's throw it to him right now for the interview.
Thank you very much, guys. What a series. I'm here with Shernfire. Congratulations on the win. Tell me how it feels being able to defeat the Chiefs, getting first on the leaderboard and securing a spot in the grand finals.
Defeating the Chiefs was it was bittersweet since we won 2-1, but I'm very happy with how we played the last game and how we recovered since I seem to have lost us the second game. So I'm glad my performance in the third game, I picked it up.
I wanted to talk about that second game because it didn't really go well for you guys. Are you able to talk about some of the problems you faced? And also, if you can, explain why you flashed for that red buff, because Juve's got a bit riled up about it on the desk.
I think it's just my animal instincts. Like, I have to get what I want. Just dominance, you know? So, yeah, that's just how it went. After that, I was like, oh shit. Logically thinking, you know, it's not the best play, but it's just my animal instincts kicking in.
Well, you are all locked in for the grand finals. Do you have a prediction as to who you think you'll be going up against and why?
I don't think we underestimated Chiefs today. They came up, the Morgana pick really threw us off, but I really do think it's a toss-up between all three, Sin, Legacy, and Chiefs, because I don't know, it's just an insane split. Anyone can come up as a contender right now. Last split, it was more obvious, but this split's it's just a crazy ride.
Yeah, it's been definitely a tight split. Congratulations once again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys compete in the OPL Grand Finals.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, Sarianne, and also Shernfire. Juves, just animal instincts, mate. It's just animal instincts.
Mate, I need some of those instincts, I guess. It must be working for him.
You definitely don't need any of those instincts. You don't want any of those instincts, mate.
All right, let's talk about this game 3 in the series. Dial was able to close it out. Choose what in particular stood out to you?
Morgana ban. He said it himself. Threw him off. Got rid of that one in the second ban phase. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about was the LeBlanc pick. You can see that they went back to comfort. Swiffer, probably his best champion, as you said, is the LeBlanc. But they just tried to do... I don't know if they haven't practiced enough with LeBlanc but like there were so many team fight scenarios where if you had a control mage, it would have done so much more than this LeBlanc pick.
I'm going to big disagree with you right now. Because I think, yes, while the team fights were not optimal, that game was over before it began. I think Jace got to base... On his first base, he got a Hex Drinker against a LeBlanc and Maokai. So you pick LeBlanc because like you don't want LeBlanc for scaling. Like sure, at Gunblade, she's still really powerful, but like you want to be able to abuse something like a Jace in lane. It's not necessarily a 1v1, it's a 2v1 because you'll win most skirmishes if you land a chain on Jace. But it took away all kill threat in that lane when he can base and get a Hex Drinker from that skirmish at blue buff.
No, I agree with that. But I think like I'm more referring to that the following team fights they chose, because obviously you know the situation that you're in. Like, okay, yeah, he got first blood and he has a Hex Drinker, but then that doesn't mean that you need to. Doesn't mean like, okay, we're still gonna try and choose the team fight. Like the Rift Herald, just a couple examples. Like you could just see Chiefs didn't really reset and utilize this LeBlanc pick to maybe lane gank the Trundle. Shen can lock that down with the taunt, and then he was running TP. He got TP back mid. Like I definitely saw a couple other alternatives they could have done.
If I had to give that game like a description, I would say it's like a seesaw. So to start off, I think it was just like a shambles for Chiefs. Like it was probably the worst case scenario, and then it looked like Swiper was laning extremely well, and it looked like it was kind of going towards Chiefs, especially with like the few kills that came through. And so Chiefs were like kind of like on the up, and then Direwolves like Shern did some really good engages, and then like Direwolves were on the up.
What I'd like to mention about is actually the first thing that happened this game at the blue buff. You can see it here. They've been fighting over the blue buff. Shernfire secures it, but the really standout thing is Fantix is able to rotate first because obviously it is his jungle. A crazy shield comes through, ends up giving the double buff to Nami, which is actually disastrous because if you could get that one onto LeBlanc, this laning phase would be a lot different. LeBlanc double buffs is not something from personal experience you want to deal with, and Raze ends up falling as well. So that was an ideal start. It gave Jace a double kill, a Hex Drinker to start, and that was really just what got them going in the early game.
Yeah, and on the seesaw topic, I guess, Dolls obviously had a good team fight comp, right? I think Trundle was pretty underrated in team fights. And
Really? That's interesting.
yeah, because
I can
you
agree
can
with
just
that,
like
yeah.
you can just like ulti the tank.
Right.
And so as I was saying, Direwolves have a good team fight comp. And Zach, aka Schönfire,
Yeah.
had a really good game, and he made many good engages. But one in particular was at that Rift Herald, over here. So he lands on Caitlyn, and it's a bit slack by Grace because he has double thumbs up, and he can probably flash out of that one. But he gets thrown back into the team. Trundle's in this team fight. As you can see, how quickly Swiper melts. I'm not sure if he's the one that gets ulted, but pretty much it's both their frontliners that die because that Trundle ultimate in team fights is it's pretty
Sure, it's one of
underrated.
the tanks.
Like
It
you
does,
don't really
yeah.
want to team fight on Trundle because like he can chomp towers. He's really good in the split, and not much can deal with him. But as soon as you ulti that tank, his resistances are gone, and that Kog'Maw in particular is just gonna almost 100 to 0 the tank.
I mean, Kog'Maw was in the middle of that team fight and
Didn't die.
Didn't die. Like you could just see
Protect that Kog'Maw.
Yeah, Lulu was too much to deal with. You have the Shen the top lane. You have Caitlyn. Caitlyn doesn't have a lot of damage at the point. It's around the mid game. Caitlyn's lane. You're obviously not on lane, so you're not as strong. And LeBlanc wasn't able to get much done because LeBlanc is such a hassle into Zac and Lulu.
Shout out to Ejim, though, hitting that point-and-click Nami wave. Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
It is kind of a skill shot.
I was surprised by the Nami pick. Yeah, you don't see that one very much.
I don't like it.
No.
You don't like
It is a.
It's not good into Zac.
It is kind of like isn't it like a soft counter in lane to Lulu? Like, isn't that Nami
It
a
helps
thing?
you sustain, I
Yeah.
suppose. But besides that, Nami, Caitlyn's a quite a traditional composition. But there is another team fight that I want to talk about, which just sort of set in stone how much better Direwolves' team fight comp was. And you can see Schönfire has a much better game on this Zac. He gets a nice engage here. King also on the Kog'Maw does get shut down by a nice flash taunt from Swiper, but you can just see LeBlanc isn't able to do anything. Too much CC is coming out, and as you said, this Trundle is such an issue in team fighting. He's able to melt the double tank composition that they're running, the Chiefs are running, and picks up a triple kill, and that was really when the game was over.
Fun fact about that team fight was Jace was not in it. It was a 4v5.
Yes, Jace wasn't actually, it was a 4v4.
4v4?
4v4.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. My bad.
No, but I mean, Jace, like, Jace is your mid laner. You
Yeah.
generally want your mid laner in a team fight.
Unless
But,
it's LeBlanc and, not good at team
There
fight.
you go. Kog'Maw top damage as expected. King on this champion performs really well. There was one final team fight at the very end where he flashes over the wall and shows you what you can do with Kog'Maw Lulu.
I think this was the best series I've seen from King in a top 4 game.
It definitely...
Yeah.
In a top 3 to 4 game.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely his best series. One where you've said, like, one where you've noticed that, yeah, okay, like, this is King, this is YB Calvin, old King, like, ready to play. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I was playing with King last year,
Yeah.
and like this is what I was used to. And
Yeah.
then he had a really questionable start to this split. Went to Rift Rivals and was even more questionable. Came back, was still like shaky, but then I mean, these final couple of weeks, you've seen how he started to really get
But you
his foot
really
in.
felt like Direwolves as a whole were playing around their bot lane a lot more and picking around Kog'Maw as well, right?
I mean, you kind of
against
have
1
to.
through.
Every
Yeah.
like that's the match at the moment.
I wouldn't necessarily agree because in game 1 they completely sacked their bot lane and they traded 2 for 2 on a tower dive. If you remember, it was a 3v2.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't think necessarily they put an extreme amount of resources into bot lane. I think that they just lamed they lamed well. They played smart. King just knows when King just knows where his item spikes are. He knows once he gets his wits end, he's still not that strong. Like, it is a bit of a power spike. But once he gets that 2 items, you see Direwolves, they're grouping around the 15, 20-minute marks when King has his 2 items, and they're just forcing. And King's playing the team fights really well.
Yeah, shout out to King.
Yeah.
Good game, good
Shout out.
series. He'll be waiting in the grand final.
All right, let's take a look at the results from this weekend. Sin were able to beat Legacy 2-1. Regicide upset Abyss 2-0. AV dominated TM 2-0. And Chiefs, not strong enough. 1-2 to Direwolves.
Team
meaning
actually picked up a game tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like
Don't
7
want to
and
say
3,
AV
fourth place.
dominated team because the Goon did play really well tonight.
He did. I feel like that was a misnomer
As
on the
we
graphic
can talk
there.
about the Gauntlet, but I
Yeah.
do want to say, because I'm an OCS bias shoutcaster, that TM versus Outlaws will be interesting.
Absolutely. We apologize to TM for that mistake. Let's take a look at the Gauntlet run then, because the schedule looking forward means that... the standings, sorry, because that will define the Gauntlet. Direwolves finish on
Way
top
in
with
front.
25 points. Legacy in second place on 21. They have the head-to-head. We're over Chiefs, also on 21 points. Sin there in 4th spot with 20 points. AV at 16, rounding out the Gauntlet. And the bottom 3 teams this split are Abyss, Regicide with a late surge of points, and TM on 4 points.
So does this mean that Regicide and Abyss have to play each other for a playoff in the relegation?
Yes, Abyss will play Regicide, and then the loser of that will play TM.
Spicy.
And then the reverse gauntlet plays the
It's spicy.
So let's take a look at the how the gauntlet's going to work as we go forward then, because our first gauntlet match is going to be AV taking on Sin. That'll be on Friday, the 25th of August. Ooh, very, very soon.
It's a rematch. That happened last week.
Indeed. The winner of that would face Chiefs. The winner of that will face Legacy, and the winner of that will take on Direwolves. The week after that, that's Saturday, the 2nd of September, the day before Father's Day. Put it in your diaries, kids.
It's going to be a good week. A lot of League of Legends.
Absolutely.
A lot of League of Legends.
15 games.
I'm not playing 15.
Best of 5s.
I'll tell you right now.
According to the script.
I'll tell you right now. If it goes to 5 games every series, I'm out. I'm out. Sub me out. Hingers, you're in.
No.
No, you've done it.
Hingers in. Hingers is our sub.
Mate, it's happening. It's happening right now.
Kalista, no. Yeah.
No, put Phoebe.
You're not. I'm sorry, you're not in. I thought about it.
No, put Phoebe jungle. I'll play.
You
I'll
just
play
had a
AD.
sudden change in thought. I'm sorry to break it to you here.
Honestly, Hingers, you're not that bad, but you're not that good.
I cannot believe my career is over before it started. This is brutal roasting today on the desk from Juice. Hey, from everyone here at OUPL, I would like to thank you at home for watching. I'd like to thank Choo Choos and also Juice for being in here. Sarah for doing our questions today. Spawn and Fish for doing our casts. For everyone here, we'll see you next week. Bye.
On the Twitch. No one can kill that guy at the moment. Praetor will come back in. They've already got Tigum though. Series is teleporting into the fight. Lowe's ultimate has expired. Double kill picked up by Triple. Lowe now getting jumped on. That's a triple for Triple. Only can't stand up to the Cockball or the Lucian, who gets a Knight's Vow for great measure as well. Nexus falls and AV get a decisive game over TM. Tiga's still throwing tornadoes around and TM are taking back the fight. He gets back on Skull. The cowardly lizard finds some strength to get back in. Do it for Brad TM. Bring this one to game number 3, and they shall, to try and pick up their first victory in the OPL.
And now they're committing on the other side of the map.
Look at Lowe in the back line. Sprayduff going to get the taunt finally. Blinky living with next to help. He does die. The poison. He's got his hand on his head. 2 kills picked up by Lowe. Good taunts come out. He needs to heal somehow though. Series did spot him there. He's healing off of Scuttlecrab. Jumps on his face. The shutdown comes out. You hate to see it. Well, that's going to be lights out for TM here. 1 Nexus turret left. That gets destroyed. Only the Nexus left up. And AV will be able to take down TM in game number 3. Surnfire with the bind. Shockwave pulls him back. He gets knocked back. Don't know. Raze. That's a mistake. Still kills him. Key gets flashed on, but they shut down the AD carry. Look at Key. He's firing away. Nobody is touching the Cockball. They want to go for it. He gets stuck. He's going down. Jumped on by a Nah. Spooks jumps in as well. But they got Swiffer. Spooks is going to fall as well. Chippies is going to take over this team fight. He gets a double for himself. Direwolves onto the Nexus. Raze has respawn. Rocket jumps in. Wildgrove comes out early. Knocks back the Lulu. Goes for the 1-1. Not gonna happen. Chippies gets the ace. Nexus goes down. Direwolves will head straight into the grand finals. Onto Egypt. Comes through with it. Binding over the wall. Not gonna be enough. Can Raze get their time?
He flashes
for it. Gets it. Fantix wants to brawl. Not gonna happen, buddy. They lock down Fantix. He'll get double stun locked. Raze is solo killing Chippies. Fantix falls before Destiny's ultimate. King is stuck. There are too many minions in this space, and it's over. Game 2 is decisively in the Chiefs' favor. Flashes into a Jace, does get a big heal as well as Mr.
First blood.
Picked up by the Jace mid lane. Fantix will eventually fall, but gets so much damage out and actually kills Raze on his way back to base. Yeah. Fantix now joins the fight. Swiffer's in a lot of trouble, tries to mimic his way out. Swiper falls to the front line. Spooks is going to be next as the Direwolves will pick up 2 kills. Here comes the little slugger, gets exhausted. Big taunt from Swiper. He's not a very tanky Trono, but he's flashed into the base. Throwing and praying, spitting at everyone, gets the triple kill off the back of that, and that might be game for the Direwolves. He will not allow his Kiwi top laner to fall in disgrace to the Chiefs. Raze tries to put up a last stand. It's not going to matter, and just like day 1 of the OPL, Direwolves finish up 2-1 against the Chiefs.